Hello, winners. How's everybody out there in cyberspace? This is Coach BU, Brenda Underwood from Breakthrough for Life, and I'm coming to you live tonight to talk about the Ultimate Goal Achievement Blueprint series. And today we are talking about time budgets. The time budget. How are you managing your time? But this live is going to come with some twists and some turns because we are going to help you shift your mindset about time so that it can shift your capabilities to reach your goals and make more money. Anybody want to make more money, want to have more impact, want to live a life of significance? Or do you want to live a life of contribution where you're giving back abundantly, or you're able to have some autonomy with your time and your resources so that you can have and craft the life that you want? This is what this live is all about. This entire series has been about how does Breakthrough for Life empower women and a few good men to craft their winning life. Many people are in that goal achievement mindset right now. We're just into the second week of February, and there's so much that we want to achieve in our lives. And I want to be able to empower you to do exactly that. So we're coming to you live tonight to talk about the time budget. And in this time budget, I got one big question for you. One big question I have for everyone watching this video live or watching it on the replay. My question to you is this: how are you investing your time? That one word, not how you're spending your time, but how are you investing your time? Because we're real good at spending our time. We'll spend our time on the phone talking with our girlfriend. We'll spend our time scrolling. We'll spend our time doing a variety of different things. But what are you doing with your time that is an investment, that is bringing you a return on investment? How are you spending your time that it brings you something in return that changes the trajectory of your future? That's what we're all about here today. So let's just get right into it. I want to talk to you about shifting your mindset in this area of seeing money as a currency. I have a really good friend of mine, and he said to me one day, Brenda, money is a currency. It is designed to flow through you. It is not designed to stop with you. And that is so biblically accurate because scripture says that I will give seed to the sower. So if you're a person who's willing to sow in time, sow in seed, sow in advice, sow in being open-minded to bringing different people into your world, then God says, I will give seed to the sower. And so that also applies to money. When you are a giver, wise giver, but when you are a giver, when you are reaching out and you're letting the money flow through you, then God says, I will give you more of a flow. And so when my friend said to me, money is a currency, it really got me chewing and thinking, how do we spend our time and how do we spend our money? And why do we make statements like, money is time, time is money? But is that true? Is that really true? Time is money. Is that a true statement? It is not a true statement because I can go and make another $100. I cannot go and make another 100 minutes. Can you go make another 100 minutes? Because if you can, then I need you to send me a DM and say, girl, I have learned how to manufacture time. Because the last time I checked, we've all got a fixed 24 hours. So is it really about managing our time or is it about managing our priorities? Now that's a whole different shift. This is about mindset shifts. I've talked to you guys before in previous lives in this series that whatever you believe, you're going to behave. We create our lives by the way we think. So if we think right, we get right. So when we see money as equal to time, we're really demoting time down to money's level because I can go make another $100. I can't go make another 100 minutes. So when we think about our time like currency, then maybe if we budgeted our time better, if we prioritized our priorities better, if we blocked off our time and worked on things that are going to change the trajectory of our futures for what we want our winning lives to look like, then just maybe it may bring us a little bit more currency. What are your thoughts about that? I know that for me, from when I shifted my mindset from I'm spending time doing this, I'm spending time doing that, to how am I investing my time in things that are going to make my future me happy? So that means that we first have to get clear. What does our ultimate winning life look like? What is it we want? And not based on societal norms, based on what mommy and daddy said we should have, or what ex-boyfriend or ex-husband or ex-girlfriend or ex-wife said that you should be or ought to be. What do you really want? You really do have the permission to craft your own winning life. You have the permission to take the pen that you own, take a blank sheet of paper, and say, this is what I want my life to look like. Once you get crystal clear on what your winning life looks like, then, and remember, we talked about don't let the how sabotage the what. We talked about that before. But when you get clear on this is what I want to create, I want to create a coaching firm that has 25 certified life coaches that are making six figures or more in a performance-based pay, a coaching firm. That's my goal, right? So then I'm going to put together habits that are going to help me reach that goal. I've got to be really good at recruiting. I got to be really good at leadership. I have to be really good at management. I have to be really good at casting the vision. You see how my big macro goal breaks down into bite-sized habits that helps me grow into the woman that is going to actually run that agency or run that firm. What's your goal? What is your big goal and how do you break it down? Because when you start to break your big goal down into bite-sized pieces, then you can come in and say, now, what are the priorities? And how do I stop and prioritize my priorities with my time instead of just managing time? The average person wants to make a cram-packed schedule, or on the other flip side, we don't seem to have balance in this. We're either very structured with our schedule and we feel like we never get time for ourselves, we never get time to breathe, or we are so lackadaisical with our schedule. Every time we pick up our phone, we're going to lose 30 minutes out the day, because we're going to get on there to check a voicemail, but then we're going to see something on TikTok and we're going to laugh at that. Then we're going to think about a friend that we need to send that to. Then we send that to her. And then she's like, girl, you still up? Are you taking a break? And then you get to chatting with her. You see how time can get siphoned out of your day. And there's nothing wrong. And I'm not a shamer. I'm not going to tell you that scrolling on TikTok is bad. I'm not going to tell you that doing certain things are bad. Look, you need a break. Sometimes you need to take a moment and have some guilt-free play time. You need to take a moment and say, I just need to give my brain a break. Just give my brain a break. There's studies that say they argue between whether it should be 18 minutes, 20 minutes, or every 90 minutes of work, you should take a break. Get up and let your brain just take a breath and breathe out and take a moment and then re-engaged in the process. Yes, you're absolutely right. I love what Antoinette puts here in the chat. I swing both extremes. Okay, yes, so we can. That is so good, because sometimes I know for me, when I go into my days off, Sunday and Monday, when I slide into my days off, it's hard for me to get into off mode. But once I get into off mode, it's also hard for me to shift into gear on Tuesday when I got to get into work mode. That's part of the reason why I put these on Tuesday nights at 7:30, because as an entrepreneur, I can choose to say I'm going to take Tuesdays off, but I want to get myself kicked into gear so that I can give back to a community of women that are committed to winning from the bedroom to the boardroom. And so I put this here so it can be a trigger to trigger me into creativity, into writing, into doing all the things that I need to do. So if you didn't get a chance, Antoinette, to see the 2 videos I did on habits and creating habits, go check that out. And that'll help you with your shifting in between the 2 extremes. And so I hope that that'll be beneficial for you. Okay, so let's talk about some siphoning time. when time is being siphoned out, we need to stop and see what is siphoning our time. And this is probably one of the hardest things that I have. It's one of the items that, let me start this over. When it comes to siphoning time, and I mention this one thing to any executive, to any leader I've ever worked with in corporate, they look at me like, Brenda, I ain't doing that. And it is called a time audit. There is a lot of great software out there that can help you with auditing your time, seeing where you're spending your time, so that you know what you need to stop spending your time on. And it's called a time audit. I like to do it with my this is a Brandon Bouchard high performance planner. I like to do my time audits with these, and so I literally will write out what is going on. Let me put up, see what's on here. What's going on in my day, how I spent my day, how I spent my time. This, if you will do this straight for 2 weeks straight, I'm talking about Sunday to Saturday, do this for 2 weeks straight. See how you're spending your time. Don't change it. You're just observing it. Observe how you're spending your time. Maybe we need to call it, instead of a time audit, because the minute we say audit, people get nervous. It's a subconsciously negative word for most people. So maybe we need to call it observing your time. But you want to take a moment where you really observe how you're spending your time, about 2 weeks. And you're going to say, okay, I spent a lot of time on the phone with my girlfriend XYZ, or I spent a lot of time just kind of piddling trying to find something. I spent a lot of time watching Netflix on Saturday. I really don't need to spend like 9 hours watching Netflix. I could probably do 4 hours and spend another 4 hours building my dream. Remember, I'm not a shamer, and I'm not one of those that are all exclusive. Don't never do this and don't never do that. Let me tell you what, I went out to lunch with one of my corporate clients today, and I had some lamb chops and some mashed potatoes. And she has watched me go through this 70-pound transformational loss of weight over the past 2 years. And she kind of looked at me like, I can't believe you're eating what you're eating. Yes, I eat it in moderation. I eat it in the early part of the day where I have time to burn it off. I'm conscious about and intentional about where I place that bad meal that I'm going to have for the day. So when I lost my weight, I wasn't in a constant starvation, restrictive, disciplined type, always in trouble for what I'm thinking about eating. I gave myself grace. Yeah, you can have some chips. You just can't have a whole bag of chips. Yeah, you can have some pizza, but you can't eat the whole pizza like you used to eat. Yes, you can have a dessert, but you don't need a dessert after every single meal you eat every single day. You see, moderation, balance. Same thing applies with your time. Give yourself time to breathe. Give yourself some guilt play time, but also give yourself some very focused, concentrated, high energy zone time, where you can really plow in and get things done. So I like to suggest to people a challenge when I talk about time management, that you do a time audit or observe your time for 2 weeks, and put it in. A simple way to do it is ABC. Now you can get some software out there. Just go in there, Google or Chat GPT time audit software. You can get a ton of time audit software. See which ones work best for you. But if old school like me, and you're going to do it on paper, I will typically, when I'm looking at a time audit, I will say A, B, and C. So A is high priority, high impact. So that's like writing my book, or that's like reorganizing my entire academy so that we can have a greater impact to a greater number of people. Writing the curriculum for those. Those are high impact because they are all tied to the purpose. What Breakthrough for Life is designed to do is to give people a breakthrough for life and not a band-aid for now. So anytime I spend writing curriculum and coming up with tools and praying through strategies, then I am adding to my God-given purpose and gift. And so when you begin to stop and look at your time, what's those A priorities? You have to stop and you have to look, what are the priorities of my life? Like, God is my priority. Number one, chief and foremost. So on Sunday, the first day of the week, he get the first of my time. I'm going to church. I'm going to hang out with my church sisters, my church brothers, me and my son. We're going to have priority time together. We don't have a lot of quantity of time, but we have a lot of quality time. When you can't give quantity, you need to make sure that you're giving quality. Okay. And so those are priorities, high priorities. I knock them out the first of the week. My son knows on his birthday, I may say I'm going to work, but at some point I'd be like, boy, you want to go check this out on your birthday? Let's go skydiving, indoor skydiving over in Marietta, because he's a priority in my world. Right? He's not my whole world, but he is my priority, and I am a priority for him. So even as a 26-year-old adult, I get to have an opportunity to have quality time with my son because that's a priority. I spend quality time with my Lord because that's a priority. That never gets skipped, and it doesn't get bypassed. Pretty much same thing as skipped, but I don't let anything infringe on that. So the question is, when you get ready to do a time audit or observe your time, ask yourself, what are my priorities? What are my priorities? What are my priorities in life? Not just the priorities for the day. What are my priorities in life? God, my faith, my family, my business, my relationships. What order are those priorities? My work, my life of contribution. What are my priorities? So when you have a good list, and I say no more than five. No more than five priorities for your life. Maybe fitness is a number one priority for you. Whatever your priorities are, there is no ought or should or shame. I'm not that type of coach. I want to draw people into being their authentic selves through love, mercy, and grace. I'm not that heavy handed. Now, I used to be, but I'm not that heavy handed. You got to do it this way. No, what's going to work best to get you the result for long term results, not behavior modification while someone's watching over you, but where it's intrinsically motivated from the inside out, right? So when you begin to look at your priorities, what's really important with you for you? I work with my clients and we can do a priority wheel and we look at, I think it's 9 areas of their lives and how they prioritize it. And part of that is a life of contribution. A part of that is wealth. A part of that is your faith walk. And maybe your faith walk is something different than Christianity. I don't judge. It's between you and your God. I have my faith belief, but I do not push that on to other people. So whatever your faith belief is, get clear on your priorities and write them down, beloved. Stop holding stuff in your head. Put it on paper. Okay, what are my priorities and how am I spending my time with regards to what's most important for me? And so when you start to schedule your priorities and not schedule your time, you will see your life of satisfaction increase because what's most important to you is getting done. So that is the A category. Then the B category is that stuff that's urgent, it needs to get done, but it's not important. Don't let what's important be slave to what's urgent. The things that have to get done. Um, but there's things that have to get done right away because you may have dropped the ball, you may have been procrastinating, you may have not gotten all the information you needed from whoever you were partnering with that particular task or project. So you have your B category. That's the stuff you've got to do, but it may cause some urgency, but it's not the number one priority. It's not an A-lister. And then you have C. That's where you have the busy work. I got to check my email. I got to check my voicemail. I got, that mundane routine stuff. You go and check like me. I spend 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening engaging on my social media. So, that's important, but it's not necessary. So if the day goes by and I don't engage in my social media, nobody's hair is catching on fire, right? I hope not. And so at the end of the day, the C is kind of the busy, piddly stuff. The time when I spend on the phone with my girlfriend, my prayer partners, and we get happy, and I done spend an hour and a half on the phone in the middle of my workday. That's going to go in that category. And so then you get to see where am I spending my time? I know when I used to be a director of staff development in corporate, I spent a lot of time answering lots of questions, and they were often the same questions from different supervisors and different directors. And so I thought, well, if I did snackable trainings on these common questions, then guess what? I could probably reduce the amount of time I'm being interrupted in a day. And guess what? It worked. And so because I did a time audit, or I observed my time while I was at work, I saw that I was spending a lot of time answering questions that could have been answered in snackable content given to my team through different formats that would keep them from interrupting me on these routine questions. The beauty of a time audit is it's a great self-reflection on how your time is being siphoned away. Then you get into that prioritizing your life, and then you start to rearrange. How do I make my spouse a priority? How do I make spending special time in this relationship that I'm trying to develop a priority? Maybe it doesn't need to have 7 days a week. It doesn't need to have 5 days a week. Maybe it needs just one good 3 hours a week so that you can cultivate and nurture that relationship. How do I have a relationship with my adult kids? What does that look like? And so the priorities get scheduled. And then all of the rest of your time, you can then allot. Okay, I'm going to have time for Brenda every single Monday. I'm going to chill. I'm going to just have no clock, no responsibilities, no appointments, and I'm just going to chill the first part of Monday and just have me some me time where I can read a magazine or a novel or a book, something that just lets my brain be free to fly. It's so important to have renewal, but I'm going to do a whole live on renewal. So I'm not going to spend time there. So we are going to talk about the ROI on time spent. So I think in my habits one, I kind of started to talk because I got excited about time management. When we start to look at the time budget, we want to have a place for everything and everything in its place. So what I really want to teach you how to do is to get a return on investment on your time. When you think about how many times you get interrupted in a day, there's a case study, I believe it's from Forbes, that indicates that when you are interrupted, you literally lose 17 minutes. So someone calls your name while you're in the middle of writing a report, writing a blog, sending in your taxes, and you're really focused, and someone say, hey, Brenda, or hey, Josie, or hey, Debbie, and you stop and you look, hey, yeah, what's up? And they look at you and you look at them and you have a brief talk. They say that it takes 17 minutes for you to get back into focused, concentrated zone. So you really want to have times where you have uninterrupted, no distracted times. I suggest about 90 minutes. You should have 90 minutes where you are really focused on something. Now, this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty with the focus zone. I love teaching about the focus zone. So you want to look at when do you have the highest level of creativity and energy? When are you the most alert during the day? Okay. And then you want to decide, okay, for me, it's morning times, or it's right after lunch, or it's right before I go to bed. What is your high energy zone time where you're the most creative, most alert? And in that time, if you get focused, you can get more things done during your focus energy zone time than you can during a time where you just said, I'm going to block that for this time. So you want to think about when do you have the most energy so that you can have a focus zone where you have no distractions to work on the projects that are most important or most difficult for you, because you're going to have a higher level of creativity during that time. Now, if you're still with me, I want someone to type in, how do I get creativity? How do I get creative? Because most people will say, I'm not really that creative. Yes, you are creative. If your back has ever been up against the wall and you had to do some creative thinking and problem solving to get out of a heavy issue, then you are creative. Stop saying that you're not. If you're a believer in Christ, he says that he is sealed to the inside of your heart. And that means Elohim, the God who spoke over the darkness of the earth and created everything that we see now. That God is on the inside of you. And he is Elohim, creative God, mighty God. So tap into him if you feel like you're not creative. But beloved, if you've ever solved a problem, I bet you use some creativity to solve that problem. And so, how do you get creative? Thank you, Antoinette, for asking the question for me. How do you get creative? The way that you get creative is, one, you believe that you are. Put the label, I am a creative problem solver. I solved that problem pretty good. believe that you are, because what you believe, you will behave and you will grow into. The second way you create creativity within yourself is creativity always needs time. It needs space. You need space to create. If you ever talk to any professional painter, songwriter, musician, any of those very highly creative. See, we think creativity is only in the arts, but no, creativity operates in every area of our lives. Some of y'all are creative with your wives and how you handle them. You're creative, right? So first you believe it, but second, you got to create time to create. So if you're trying to write a book, if you're trying to write a song, if you're trying to paint a new picture, if you're trying to do something different, if you're trying to plan that coaching program, you need space where you don't have a hard, fine line on time, where you give yourself 2 or 3 hours to just be free to create. So creativity needs belief, it needs time, and it needs peace. When you are relaxing, I don't know about you, I try to do about 4 vacations a year, and I haven't always been able to do that in my career, but lately I have, the past 3 to 4 years, done 4 vacations a year. And one of the hard things about me being on vacation is that when I go on vacation, I get all kinds of business ideas. I'm like, oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do this podcast. And if we did this book, and I can collaborate with so-and-so, and so-and-so's been asking me to work with them on this and that. And my brain just goes boom, boom, boom about the second week I'm on vacation. Though those last 3 days coming back to work, I'm like itching, like, can I please get back to work? I got so many creative ideas. You know why I got so creative? And I used to be a person who said I wasn't creative. You know why I was so creative? Because I was at peace. I was calm. I was shalom. Like, look, we on vacation. Whatever's going on over in the United States, it's going to be there when we get back. But right now, I'm going to enjoy Fiji. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you guys about my Fiji trip. And many people have been asking me about Fiji and how it happened. And I'm going to share a little bit of snippets about dreams coming true and about my trip to Fiji for Christmas. But that's going to be later after I give you guys your nuggets. So creativity needs, one, you got to believe you're creative. Two, you've got to create space for creativity. Three, you need to create calm for creativity. And one of the ways that I create a calm, when I get ready to go into a focus, high energy zone, I will recite one of my mantras. So first I'm going to stop. So I'm going to teach you guys a technique right now on how to get into a state where you can create, right? So you can have creativity in your work. So you can get more things done than you could any other way, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 deep breaths from the gut, not from the chest, not here, but from the gut. So your stomach should expand and decrease, like all the way your belly button is going to the back of your tummy. Okay. So you're going to breathe in, hold it, hold it, hold it, and breathe out. Breathe in and hold it, hold it, hold it, and breathe out. And breathe in again. And I'm going to do 10 of these typically. And then I'm going to let it out. And that's going to take you to a very calm state in your body. Okay. 3 intentional breaths will literally change the makeup of your chemical state. So you have those 3 breaths, you've gotten to a very calm state. Now you're going to talk to yourself. Yes, I said it. You're going to talk to yourself, okay? And you're going to say, I am capable, I am able. God has given me a creative mind. He has given me witty ideas. I am a phenomenal writer. I am a phenomenal strategist. I bring breakthrough strategies for every one of my clients. And today I'm going to write a chapter that is going to propel people into the future trajectory that they've always dreamed of living and never thought they could. See, I'm an odds defier. I help people defy the odds. Whatever the world said about you, I say no. You get to create your life. And I'm going to help people today create their best life. So I kind of give myself a rah-rah. I do the same thing before I get on a stage and I start speaking. I give myself a rah rah. I speak to myself like I love myself. I speak to myself like I believe in myself. I speak to myself like I am a daughter of the Most High King. I am a high vaulted diamond. I am not a common rose. I am a rose that is cased in gold because I am a daughter of royalty. He has made me the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. I am blessed in my coming and I am blessed in my going. He thinks I am wonderful and beautifully made. He delights in my prosperity. And he seeks for me to prosper as my soul prospers. Everything I just said was scripture. And so I will speak scripture over my life. And then all of a sudden, I'm in this state where I feel like there's nothing I can't do. And then I get into it and I'm not distracted, and there's no phone, there's no dings, there's no red pings, and I have a focus zone for 90 hours. And then I come out of that. Let me tell you, I've been doing that a lot with technology. I got chat on my website, y'all. I did it all by myself. I'm so proud of myself. But anyhow, I've been doing a lot of technical stuff, which if any of you know me or have been following me for any time, you know that's a stretch for me. But I'm determined to learn it. I am determined to learn how to do hard things well. How many times have you said to yourself, I'm determined to learn how to do hard things well? So during my focus energy zone time, I try to do the hard things that I'm trying to master because that's when I'm at a heightened state of creativity. Okay. And so that's one of the tools that you can use to get into a flow state so that you can have creativity flowing through you so that you can achieve your goals. Remember, you're not going to get to the summit. You're not going to get to the mountaintop overnight. It is step by step, strategic steps for you to craft your winning life. Goal achievement is really a becoming. You are becoming something you've never been before. That's why the shedding of who you used to be is so painful. We feel like when we let go, when me letting go of being a night owl, which I haven't done it yet, I ebb and flow with that. But me letting go of being a night owl feels like I'm leaving part of me behind. But I know that when I get up at 6 a.m. in the morning and I get in my flow state and I get to getting my mindset work done and my meditation work, and I spend my time with the Lord and I pray and I worship and I cry it out, and then I go into the day, I'm so much fuller. I feel like I'm starting my day ahead of the game versus when I stay up late till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I sleep in late and I don't get started until 12, 1 o'clock in the day. Then I feel like I'm chasing the 8 ball, even though, let me tell you, beloved, if you're a night owl, I'm not here to shame night owls. Remember, I'm not into shaming and guilting people into doing stuff. I want you to do it because you love to, you want to. I'm not into obligatory action. I'm into action that's motivated from a desire to be better. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, I'm not shaming night owls. If that is your flow, look, it's the same 24 hours, beloved. Whether you get it done at 5 a.m. because you stayed up to 5 a.m. to get it done, or you started at 5 a.m. to get it done. Awori Washington, I'm thinking about you, girlfriend, because she's another fellow night owl and entrepreneur. At the end of the day, it's still the same 24 hours. It's just the state of mind you're in. What state of mind does it put you in? For me, waking up late and starting late puts me in a state of mind where I feel like I'm chasing my tail. And I prefer to feel like I'm ahead of the game. You feel me? So when you begin to think about your high energy zones, your high focus zones, you definitely want to stop and you want to look at and observe your time to find out where that's at. Okay. Now, the return on investment in your time, if we will treat our time like we treat our money, then maybe we could watch our currency increase. Because remember, we talked about money is a currency, it's supposed to flow through you. So when you start to think about your time like you budget your money, how would you budget your time differently if you thought about it like currency? If you looked at every day, I have $24,000 to invest or to waste. 24,000. Every hour is worth $1,000. That's a heck of an hourly wage, isn't it? $1,000 an hour. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Where's that job at, right? But when you think about the time you cannot be replaced, it's very valuable. So when you begin to think about your time like currency, so you take your $24,000 a day that you get, and you don't get to carry it over. There is no savings account for your time because you don't get to remanufacture time the next day. So you have $24,000 a day to spend. How are you going to spend it? $8,000 I'm going to spend on renewing my body with good sleep, good focus. I just heard something in a book that I read that LeBron James, he plays beyond his, the age that most players play, according to these sports people. Don't come at me, sports people, because I'm not a sports person. I'm just talking about what I heard on the sports radio that I was listening to. But they say he sleeps somewhere between 9 to 10 hours a day because of his body renewal, because of his physical routine is so tight and is so strenuous on his body. He needs to take time, and he understands the power of renewing your body. So $8,000 I'm going to spend renewing my body. $8,000 I'm going to spend living my life or crafting my winning life. $8,000, if I don't eat, I don't work. $8,000 I'm going to spend giving my best on whatever job is my occupation, because that's integrity. They are giving you an hourly wage or an annual salary. Operate with integrity on that job, because one day you may have employees and you would wish they would operate with integrity on their jobs working for you. So work on your job like you have to pay the payroll, and you will show up for work with a completely different mindset. Whether you like that job or not, you like that paycheck. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. So honor them. To whom much is given, much is required. And if we're not faithful with little, how can we be expected to be given much more? So let's get real integrous in our work that we do. Because if we don't work, we don't eat. So $8,000 you're going to spend renewing your body so your body can keep you sharp and focused. $8,000 you're going to spend on giving your best to the place that is keeping a paycheck in your bank account. Okay. Then you're going to spend $8,000 on life. Now we have 8, 8, and 8. That $8,000 on life, you can say, I'm going to waste all of that just enjoying life. Or you can say, I'm going to take that $8,000 and I'm going to take $4,000, 4 hours of my 8 hours of life, and I'm going to start learning about investing. I'm going to start learning about supply chain or logistics business. I'm going to start doing some research on how to be a 6-figure blogger or how to have a profitable book deal. I'm going to start planning today for what I want to achieve tomorrow based on my long-term life goals, based on my values and my priorities, because I've sat down and I've gotten crystal clear on what those are. I feel like I've given you guys a whole lot. And so, on Tuesday night, 7:30, whether or not you get an alert or not, I'm going to be here to give you guys a big steak dinner. But you know what? I kind of need some help from you guys. What do you guys want to hear about after the Goal Achievement Series? DM me, ping me, text me, put it in the comments. Let me know, what is it that you want me to give you a steak dinner on a Tuesday night to help you craft your winning life? I am more than happy to do that, because with Breakthrough for Life, we're not cookie cutter coaches. We are custom coaches. We are custom coaches, tailor-made and designed to help you craft your winning life based on your values, your dreams, and your aspirations. So now let me bring it all home, and we're going to do this exercise. It's a 15-minute exercise for you to map out your ideal weekly time budget and start making smarter time investments. But this is the thing. We're not going to plan all $24,000 of our time. So when you begin to sit down and look at your week, whether you do that on Sunday before you get while you're getting ready for Monday morning, or whether you do that first thing Monday morning at the top of your week. And if you're a part of the Winning Life Facebook group, every Monday we come out with a question to help you gain clarity on what is this week designed to produce for you. Set your intentions, make it clear. This week, by the end of this week, I want to have accomplished this element. Like I'm in the middle of writing a course on mindset. So at the end of the week, I want to have at least one of my courses fully done and uploaded, right? And so then I take out the week and I just plan that one big thing, that one big accomplishment I want for the week. I'm going to break that down into bite-sized pieces that I schedule throughout the week. And I protect that time block, right? I'm not scheduling every single thing because I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a psychic. And Christians, we don't go to those, right? So we are going to be led by Christ, led by the Holy Spirit. And we know that the Holy Spirit likes to show us one step at a time. He doesn't tell us the whole road. He tells us just get on this runway. And when you get up in the air, I'll tell you whether you go north, south, east, or west. Okay. That's how the Holy Spirit works. And that requires us to have a trusting faith relationship with him. But we can set our attentions on what we want to accomplish in a week. Right. And once you set that intention, then you're going to map out how you need to spend your time in consideration of everything else you have. I'm going to see my trainer Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Okay. Well, on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm already training myself to be up at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to go work out. Maybe I can take 6 to 7 a.m. and I can work on this big result I want to achieve this week. You see how that works? That's all you're going to plan. And when you get really skilled at always keeping that commitment, then add on another block. And then you add on another block. And then you add on a block called guilt-free playtime. So that way you don't overwhelm yourself with massive change all at once. Inch by inch, accomplishing anything is a cinch. Again, inch by inch, you can accomplish anything. So you want to map that out at the beginning of your week and then stick to it. Remember, when we keep our words to ourselves, we build self-trust. And when we have self-trust, then we propel our subconscious minds to propel us into success instead of keeping us stuck in self-sabotaging habits. So whatever you commit to, stick to. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. So hopefully I have shared some tools with you guys that will help you get some traction with your goal achievement, help you get into a flow state and a creative zone. So now let me share a little bit about Fiji. So I go to a different continent of the world or a beach every year. Well, January of 2024 was a spectacular January for me. I met an awesome guy named Tony Robbins. I got to be on stage doing the business mastery class that he had in January. And I invited a lot of my clients to come, but this particular time, there was only 3 very special people, and I'm gonna give shout outs to them. One, first and foremost, is Kimberly Ellis. She's been a long-term friend of mine for multiplied years, and she was in the room. And then a very dear friend of mine, Bobby Chico Perez, he was also in the room. He's a newer friend of mine. He was a client of mine, and I later went to work for his organization, and I do some work for them on the side, as well as he and I have become very dear friends. And then the other person who is in the room is my special girl. I call her my road dog. She my road dog, Sean Brown, the owner of Cheesecake. All 3 of them were in the room when Tony Robbins pulled me up, and he said, we had just done a breakout exercise, and he said, what is your dream, Brenda? And at first I was already in tears because the breakout was so revealing that we did during the business mastery. I was already crying, and I told him, I said, I'm going to blubber all through this. And he said, okay. And he said, so what's one of your biggest dreams? And I said, I want to pay off single moms' homes. That's really my driving force, y'all. I live a good life. I eat good, but I really want to be the help to single moms that I didn't have. And so I want to pay off single moms' homes. And he started crying and I started crying, and they actually used my clip in some of their marketing. And so he's crying and I'm crying, and he says a little bit and wipes his tears. I try to wipe mine. Then he said, "What else do you want to do?" I said, "I want to be a 20% tither. I don't want to tithe just 10%. I want to tithe 20% to my church, my home church." And then he said, "Okay, well, what's one more?" And I said, "Well, you know what? My girlfriend says, do you own the island of Fiji?" He's like, "No, I do not own Fiji." And I was like, "Okay, you got a resort or something there?" He said, "Yes, I have a resort in Fiji. It's called Namali." And I said, "Oh, I want to go there." Me and my son, we go every Christmas to a different beach every year because we don't really have a close-knit family where we have family traditions where we have a place to go for Christmas. So years ago, I decided that we were going to go to a different beach every year. And he said, "Well, we're going to make that dream come true this year." And Tony Robbins literally flew me out to Devin, my son, and I flew us out to Fiji for Christmas. They paid for the flight. They paid for 5 days and 5 nights at their very nice Namali resort. Let me tell you, the service at Namali in Fiji was bar none. Those people, they knew our names. It was just great. I learned a lot about people, their culture, people there. The food was, oh my God, exquisite, exquisite. My only advice is if you go there, ask them for a mosquito net to put over your bed. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But other than that, it was a phenomenal trip. And this is one of the things that I really struggle during what's going on in our world right now because I see a lot of division. I see a lot of divisiveness. I see a lot of attacking people. And I'm real big on unity. I'm real big on diversity. I'm real big on us being people who just love people because God died for them, because Jesus died for them. I don't care whether you are Buddhist, you are agnostic, you are Christian, you are Muslim. I don't care if you're black, you're white, you yellow, you purple. I don't care. And I'm not going to say I don't see color because that's saying that there's a distinguishing factor about you that's so offensive that I just can't even recognize it. Yes, I do see color and I embrace it and I celebrate it. And during this time where people are mad at the rich and poor people are saying this about the rich, and some rich people are saying this about the poor, I will tell you that has not been my experience. I am going to tell you that some of the most generous people I have ever encountered in my entire life have been some of the most wealthy people I have ever encountered in my entire life. Some of the stingiest people I've ever met have been middle class people sitting on $25,000 savings accounts. So, I'm really, I share this about Tony Robbins because he touched my heart. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get a gift to him that even has any impact on the impact that he had on helping that dream come true for me. But what I really want to employ people to do today, can we just come together on unity? Come together on the simple fact that everybody wants to live a good life. Everybody wants to love and belong. That's all we want. That's all white people want. That's all black people want. That's all Hispanics want. We want to love and belong. We want to take care of our families and live a good life. We don't want to have to worry about getting shot in the streets or worried if our kids are going to get shot when they go to school. We just want to live a good life. That's what every nationality wants. And I'm really going to plead for unity in every area, not just the divide of our races, but even the rich to the poor and the poor to the rich. It's not a us against them, it's a us with us. I saw an interview and it was from, and I'm not going to say who, but it was a billionaire that owns a very big chain. And he was being called to the carpet saying, how he treated his employees because he didn't pay them more money per hour. And remember, I'm going to say this about minimum wage. You get paid for your skill set. So if you don't like your hourly wage, upgrade your skill set. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I try not to get into politics, but I'm gonna tell you, if you don't like your hourly wage, the way you get out of it is you upgrade your skill set. So you are more valuable, not as a person, but as a skill set on your job so you can make more money. Okay. Let me not get off on that tangent. But nonetheless, he was being called to the carpet because he was a billionaire and what he paid his staff. And I'm gonna tell you, I was really impressed because he said, wait a minute. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I grew up in subsidized housing on welfare. I grew up and I had to claw for every single dime opportunity that I have. And he said, and I don't apologize for my wealth or my prosperity because I have had sleepless nights. I have worked my butt off to get there. And I said, bravo for you. Now, don't think that I'm on one side, because I'm gonna tell you, if you really talk to me and you don't know if I'm Republican or Democrat or liberal or what. You have no clue, because I am human being. I am human being. That's what I am. And I'm keep my money in my pocket and not in the tax and paying a lot of taxes for stuff. That's where I sit. And so with that being said, I just really want to employ you, because everything, society is a collective of people. So what we teach and what we do in our homes and we come together as a collective, that becomes society. So it all starts in the nucleus of your home. And so I'm really going to plead with people for unity, for love, and for integrity. Can we get some integrity on how we spend our time, how we spend our money, how we spend our tax dollars? Can we get some integrity? And that's going to be my prayer, and that's my plead, that at the end of the day, that we all come together under this one truth. Can we help people who don't look like us, who don't act like us, who don't believe like us, who are not in our economic hemisphere? Can we just try to help them feel loved and try to help them feel like they belong? Can we do that? Because I'm going to tell you, when people don't feel like they are loved and when people don't feel like they belong, it can be very detrimental what the end result looks like. And so I didn't plan on ending it with this right here, but I'm really going to ask you, if you watch these lives, can we pray for unity? Just pray for unity. And whatever it looks like, can we just pray for unity? Unity on the fact that if you were someone Jesus died for you to be in relationship with, we're going to love you. And that's everybody. Everybody, Jesus died for them to be in relationship with him. Whether they choose him or not, that's not between you and them. That's between them and God. Your job is to love them. Your job is to love them. Our only yoke is to love God, love ourselves as we love others. So love God first, love yourself second, and love others third. Because when you can love, let that love flow from God to you, fill your heart up, then you can love people without expectation. And so that's where I'm going to end today, beloved. I hope that this has encouraged you. Share it. This is something that you can share with other people. That you can send them to my channel. My channel is, hold on, let me find the caption for that. You can send them to my channel at Coach BU on YouTube. Subscribe. We made 100 subscribers. Yay! When I started doing these lives in January, we only had 90 subscribers. And so now we are all the way up to 110 subscribers. Thank you. My goal is to get it up to 1,000 before the beginning of April. So I hope you winners are getting a lot out of it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up faithfully every week. 7:30 on Tuesdays, I'm coming to give you a steak dinner. I'm coming so that you can have something that you can write with your pen and paper so that you can craft your winning life. And if you want some one-on-one custom coaching, please reach out to me. I would love to have a 45-minute free discovery call with you where we can dig into what you want to achieve, and I can put together a custom coaching journey to make sure that you achieve it with a performance guarantee that you will get those results. Otherwise, I will coach you for no charge until you do. And I've never had to give the performance guarantee away because we do a great, thorough job in our discovery call to make sure that we craft a custom journey that you will knock your socks off. So this is Brenda Underwood, Coach BU, coming to you live today to help you craft your winning life and achieve your goals. So I hope that you will apply what you learned. I hope that you'll DM me and let me know what are some other things that you'd like for me to talk about, topics. And I would love to hear how you're getting breakthroughs with your goals. DM me, call me, text me, email me, whichever way you can communicate, I'll get back to you. This is Coach BU signing off. Peace and love. Bye-bye.